Hi Doctor, we are Group 6 from Section 5, and now we're going to present about our parking slot reservation system. Our group member consists of Ung Yii Jia, Ching, and Huey. For the synopsis of our system offers an efficient and user-friendly parking slot reservation system for both customer and also admin. It supports 10 parking slots over 30 days for an organized parking management. For admin features, admin can view all slot availabilities, add and remove reservations, and also review reservation reports. While for customer features, they can view available parking slots, make reservations for their preferred slots, and also access their personal booking history. While for reservation cancellation, they can only contact admin to do that. And this system is ideal for implementation in areas such as shopping mall, office complexes, universities, and public parking facilities. Next will be our objective of our system.
So now I'm going to introduce about the objective of our system. So our system is designed to allow the customer to register securely without the need to arrive at the parking lot earlier to secure the seats. Moreover, it provides the function which is to build the availability of the parking slots to the customer. So the customer can get to know the availability of the parking slot online. Moreover, it also enables the customer to reserve parking with confirmation ticket and also the function of view reservation history. So the user can refer to their reservation through login their account. Moreover, this system is also designed for another potential user, which is the administrator of the parking lot. So this system aims to provide the administrator of the ability to add or remove parking slot as needed. Moreover, it also has the function which is to produce a reservation report for any purpose in monitoring and analysis. Last but not least, the system also provides the administrator with the function which is to display the availability status of the reservable parking slots, which is useful when the admin help the customer to make reservation. So now let us move to the analysis and design phase. So here is the workflow chart of our system. So here the first chart is about the main menu and register function. So here when the user enters the system will display the main menu. And then it will prompt the user to enter the option. So if the user chooses to log in the admin account, so it will proceed. So here is the admin function. So firstly, it will ask the user to enter the username and password. And then it will test the username and password whether it is correct or not. So if it's not correct, it will bring the user back to the main menu. So if it is correct, it will proceed to display the admin menu. And then it will prompt the user to make an option, whether to use which function. So if the admin chooses to log out, so it will bring the admin back to the main menu. So if the admin chooses to view parking slot availability, it will display the available parking slot at each desk. And then it will move to the on-page connector form, which is back to the admin menu dashboard. Else if the admin chooses to view report, it will display all parking slot at each desk with its availability and then display the reservation summary. After that, the admin will also be bring back to the admin dashboard. So else if the admin chooses to remove reservation, the system will prompt the admin to enter the slot and that index. And then it will test whether the slot and that index entered are correct or not. If the slot and that index input are not correct, it will prompt the user to enter the slot and that index again until the user input a valid format. After that, it will proceed to remove the selected slot and then update the reservation list and save to the file which contain the reservation report. And then admin will be bring back to the admin dashboard to see whether he or she want to proceed with another function or not. Else, if the admin choose to help customer to make reservation, the admin will be prompted to enter the customer name, phone number, card plate number, slot and that index. And then the system will test the slot and that index. So if it's not correct, it will prompt the user to enter again until the user enter a valid information. After that, it will proceed to reserve the slot and update the reservation list. So the system will also ask the user whether he or she want to receive a confirmation ticket. So if the user choose yes, the system will send a confirmation ticket to her. So if not, it will bring the user back to the admin dashboard. So if the user chooses the option that is invalid, the system will also bring the user back to the admin dashboard. So now if the user chooses to log in the customer account, it will proceed to the customer function. So this chart is the customer function. So same like the admin function, it will ask the user to enter the username and password, and then test whether the username and password is correct. If it's not correct, it will back to the main menu. If it's correct, it will proceed and display the customer menu, which show the function that the customer can proceed. And then it will prompt the customer to enter the function that they want to use. So if the customer chooses to log out, it will back to the main menu. Else, if the customer chooses to view the parking slot ability, it will show the ability parking slot at each desk. And then it will back to the on-page connector 5, which is back to the customer dashboard. Else, if the customer chooses to reserve a slot, it will prompt the customer to enter the name, phone number, cardback number, slot, and that index. And the system will test the slot and that index of the customer whether it's correct or not. If not, it will prompt the user to enter again until it enters a valid format. After that, it will proceed to reserve the slot and update the reservation list. Moreover, the system will ask the user whether he or she wants to receive a confirmation ticket. So if the user chooses yes, the system will send a confirmation ticket to the device. If no, it will back to the on-page connector 5, which is back to the customer dashboard. Else, if the customer chooses to view reservation list, the system will display the reservation history of the user account. And then back to the on-page connector 5, which is back to the customer dashboard. Else, if the customer chooses to contact support, so since the customer cannot remove his or her reservation, so they need to contact the admin to remove their reservation. So this function actually displays the admin contact information to the user. And then it will back to the customer dashboard. So else, if the user enter an invalid option, it will display an error message and prompt the user to enter the option again. If the customer chooses to register an account, so the system will prompt the customer to enter their username, and then it will start to check whether the username is accessed or not. If yes, it will ask the user to enter the username again until the username is not occupied or repeated. After that, it will ask the user to set a password and then confirm the password. So if the confirmed password entered is not the same as the entered password, the condition will evaluate to false and then it will ask the user to enter a new password again. So to let the condition evaluate to true, both the password and confirmed password must be the same. After that, the account will be created and the user will be moved back to the main menu. Else, if the user chooses to exit the system will display a farewell message and then the program will end. So if the user entered an invalid option here, and the condition evaluate to false, the system will display an error message and then it will move back to the main menu. So that's all for me, thank you.
Next will be about the UML diagram we draw based on the 6 classes that we use for our system, which is account, admin, customer, parking slot, date slot, and also reservations. First, for the abstract account class, it serves as a base class for user authentication, which handles username and also password array. And it also has pure virtual methods, which is login and log out, that allow customer and admin to define their own login logout later. For customer and admin, they both hold a pointer to reservation class. And this show aggregation, which allows them to access the public method of reservation class with ownership. They are also independent, which means if customer or admin is being deleted, reservation will not be affected. For customer public method, it has several functions such as contact admin, reserve, view availability, and also view their reservation record. While for admin, they are view availability, reserve, and also remove reservation, which only allowed to be done by admin, and also admin can view report. For reservation class, it will manage user data used for reservations such as name, phone number, couplet number, username, slot index, and date index that they choose for their business slot, and also manage booking process such as reserve slot to create booking, confirmation to send confirmation file to customer, and also check availability. Reservation class also hold a pointer to this slot to check availability by assess the status of the 10 times 30 array in this slot. While for date slot, it will manage the 10 parking slot times 30 date slot array. It will check for the status for the 10 times 30 array is available and also display the availability by showing empty bracket for available and cross bracket to show it is reserved. It will also update the reserved status in reserved slot and also cancel reservation. While for parking slot, it will manage a static array that stores 10 parking ID, which is then used in composition in date slot. This is a whole UML diagram for our system, as we can see that parking slot is using black diamond to show composition in date slot, while date slot is used empty diamond to show aggregation to reservation, while reservation is aggregates to customer and also admin. For customer and admin, they inherit from abstract base class, which is account, by using triangle arrow to show inheritance. Next is about the OO object-oriented concept used in the source code of our system. Firstly, encapsulation. Our system applies encapsulation by keeping the sensitive information like user credential and also reservation details hidden through the use of private or protected attribute. As shown in the picture, our reservation class keeps the name, phone number, couplet number, username, slot index, and also the index, which is the reservation details, as private attributes. And also in our account class, username and password is stored as protected attributes. Access is only provided through the public method like getName, getPhoneNumber, getCouplet number to ensure better security integrity and to prevent unauthorized access or alteration. While for the array of objects, our system uses static array to manage multiple parking slots and date slots. Static arrays such as parking ID in parking slot store multiple parking slot identifier, while date store multiple date slot and reserve 10 times 30 array in date slot store the status of multiple slot stats available. For reservation storage, our system employs a dynamic array reservation in main, which allocates memory at runtime for up to max reservation. As shown in the picture, static array, we have parking ID in parking slot, while date and reserve in date slot, also using static array. For dynamic array is reservation in our main. This array acts as array of objects and enable our system to manage various parking slot, dates, and reservation efficiently. Next is about the association of light in our system. Firstly is composition. We can see that our date slot class contains a parking slot object which shows composition. This means that our parking slot is always tied to a specific date, which makes sure that customer can only select a parking slot after they have selected an available date to ensure orderly booking process. This also helps to prevent issues such as double booking. While next is aggregation. We can see that reservation has an aggregation with date slot class, where reservation will use date slot class to manage booking schedule and parking availability. Date slot will help to handle the slot availability tracking for reservation, while reservation class only focus on the booking process. Since it is aggregation, date slot is able to maintain all the booking data even when individual reservation is modified or cancelled. Next, we can see that in customer class, it holds a pointer to reservation, and also in our admin class, it also holds a pointer to reservation class. This shows that both of them having a aggregation relationship with reservation class. Aggregation is used to make the reservation data to become a public resources to share among the user of the system. For example, it allows admin and customer to access the same reservation object for any modification purpose. Also, when admin and customer interact with reservation object, delete a user will not affect the reservation because the reservation class is independent. As we can see that our base class is account class, which has protected attribute username and also password. Since we apply inheritance so that our customer and admin can also access the protected attribute user and password. In base class, we also have login and logout as the common features, and we define it as pure virtual method to allow admin and customer to override it later in their own class. And now let's see in customer class, we have override the login function as customer need to compare the username and password that registered and entered by the customer. While for admin is compared with the predefined username and also password, which is also the default value that we set. Since customer and admin inherit a similar structure from account, but they still implement their own version of function, which is login and logout based on their own requirement. This has shown the concept of polymorphism.
So hello, I'm Ching. So now I will do the demonstration for parking slot reservation systems. So this is our main menu. We have login as admin, login as customer, register as customer, and then exit. So the first one, let's go for the option one, login as admin. So for login as admin, the admin has to enter the username and password that is already set by the system correctly. So the correct password, the correct username is this, and the correct password is this. So once it matches the username and the password in the system will say that the admin has successfully logged in. And this is the admin menu. Okay, we've got 4 functions: view availability, make reservation, remove reservation, view report, and log out. So for viewing availability, let's take a look. You can see that this is the parking slot availability, and we got the parking slot ID over here from P1 to P10. And since the system is particularly made for June, 1 June, so the day only start from 1 to 30. If it's a empty bracket, then indicates that the slot is available. If it's an X mark inside the bracket, then the slot has been reserved. So now the admin want to make reservations. The admin can help the customer to make reservation by entering their details. For example, Chan, phone number, calculate number, and the date to reserve date. Maybe I choose 30th June and the last parking slot, which is P10. If the input is all valid, then the system will only indicate that the reservation has successful on the date of June 30th at the parking slot of P10. And the admin can choose whether they need a confirmation or not. So if the admin want a confirmation, then they choose yes, and a ticket will be sent to the admin device. So this is the ticket. It will show the customer details as well as the reservation info. 30th June and the P10 has been reserved. So let's take a look at the view availability to see whether the X mark, yes, the X mark is displayed inside the bracket already. So meaning to say the slot has been reserved, as well as the option for view report. Okay, let's take a look at the report. So since the admin only make 1 reservation, so this is the first reservation, and this is the customer details as well as the reservation info. And the total number of reservation in June currently is 1. Okay. Now we want to cancel reservation. Okay. The only function that only the admin has, which is canceling a reservation. So for option 3, the admin has to enter the date that they want to remove. For example, I'm going to remove the slot for 30th June P10. So it says here the slot P10 at day 30th has been cancelled. So admin has successfully removed. But what if the admin want to cancel a slot that has not been reserved, or they want to cancel a slot that is available? For example, like 1st of June and the first parking slot, since the parking slot has not been reserved, so that the system will not allow the admin to cancel no reservation at that slot. All right, this is the function of the admin, and you can see over here we got 5 options here: view availability, make reservation, remove reservation, view report, and log out. Right, but what if the admin they enter a number that is out of the option? For example, like enter 5. Okay, the system will inform the admin that it is an invalid choice and look again to admin menu to ask the admin to re-enter a valid one. So this is how our input validation works. And now I want to log out because I want to demonstrate how can we log in as customer. So before logging as customer, we have to have an account with the system, right? So I'm going to opt for the option 3, which is register as customer. So I have to enter a username. Maybe I take this username with the password of 555. Confirm password has to be the same as the password we entered just now. But if we did not matches the password we entered just now, then the system will say the password does not match and we are required to enter again. So 555 and the confirm password is 5552. Okay, and since we already entered a username and the password is correct, okay, both password has matched, so the system says the customer has successfully registered. Okay, now before that, let's go to register as customer again. We cannot register ourselves with the username that has already been registered. For example, if I want to register myself again with Huey Ting. Okay, we did register by using the username, right? Yes, so the system wouldn't allow if the username has already exists in the system, then you have to create another one. It must be unique. It cannot be the same or repeat with the other customer username. So you have to create another one. For example, I'm using the name of Jia and the password. Okay, register successfully. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate how to log in as customer and its function inside. So I'm going to use the username of Yii Jia, password. Okay, then this is the customer menu. View available slots. Let's take a look. Because if you want to reserve a slot, right, you will have to see whether the slot is available or not. So it's the same, just like the admin. Empty bracket meaning to say the slot is available, and X mark inside the bracket meaning to say the slot has been reserved. So now initially it is empty. So I want to reserve a slot for, okay, for example, I'm going to reserve for my cousin. Okay, for my cousin, my cousin name is Tom, and phone number and the contact number. Okay, slots, date. For date, I'm going to reserve for at 20th June at the last parking slot P10 also. So it says here the reservation has successfully made. Because I made at the available parking slot, so the system will notify it is successful at the date of June 20th at parking slot P10. Okay, so you can choose if you want confirmation or not. Yes, we did want a confirmation, and the ticket has been sent to the customer. You see the customer devices. So inside the ticket, it consists of the customer details as well as the reservation info. Okay. So if you can see, if you wish to cancel a booking, we must contact an admin. So if you want to cancel, right, there's no function for you to cancel. So the only thing that the system provides is the option for contact the support. So if you want to cancel, you may contact the support by the option 4. It shows the operation hour, the admin phone numbers, the admin names, as well as the office address. So now let's take a look at the view available slots to see whether the X exists. Yes, the X is marked at the day of 20th plus parking slot. Let's take a look at the view reservation list. So for viewing a reservation list, this is the name, customer name, and this is the reservation info. So the customer can look back to the reservation list as a reference. So as the same in input validation, we only have 5 options, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 0. So what if the customer enter a number of 5 that is out of the option? So the system will inform the customer that it is an invalid choice, then continue with the customer menu. So now we log out first because there's no more demonstration here. And the same thing, input validation for the main menu also have. We got 1, 2, 3, and 0, right? So if the user enter the number of 4, it will inform that it's an invalid choice and continue to the main menu. Okay, now we want to log out, exit the system because we're done using it. And the system will terminate by sending a thank you message. Thank you for using the parking slot reservation system. So this is a basic and effective demonstration on how to use our parking slot reservation system. Thank you.